last week, my objective was to, for the last 2 or 3 days of that week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, was to explore as much as possible with genetic algorithms. I have goals and I do have objectives of where I would like to take genetic algorithms, but it's something that I want to learn more of, not just conceptually. Intellectually, I might be able to understand it, but I need to actually act on it. I need to be able to apply it. And not having very simple analogies to describe the activity that's going on is a phenomenal start. So to recap on what I did last week is I described for a while what a genetic algorithm is. And for anybody out there who does not know what a genetic algorithm is or would like to know more about it, this analogy might be able to help it understand the activity very simply. We'll start with there's the train in the back. There's a brute force method, and I'm starting with a brute force because I'm going to expand upon it with genetic algorithms in general. A brute force method in genetic algorithm is that we have the end goal, and we have the starting point and the end goal. Both of these two things are known. Think of it like a map. We know where we want to go, and we know where we are. Those two things matter. Now, with the algorithm, with the brute force method, we know those two things. With the genetic algorithm, it's going to go through each and every single pathway, determined by our own values, what path we want more. What path would be of a greater value than compared to the others. We would give it a certain score, and that score would be raised above all the other ones, which would be the highest fitting model or action or algorithm to take. Now, with genetic algorithms, in general, is that we do not know initially what the end goal is, nor are we even trying to find the end goal. Maybe we're just always wanting to constantly find an improved method, an improved result. So we can think of it like creating a business. There are 4 fundamental factors with genetic algorithms. 1 is generation, 2 is fitness, 3 is population, 4 is mutation rate. Now, we're going to use these out of order. It's just those are the 4. Doesn't matter which order they are in. Each and every single generation holds it has a set population size. It could be 10, 100, or 1,000, whatever that population size is. Now, if we were to attribute this to business, like a McDonald's franchise, we would have, let's just say, 100 people go out and try to make their own McDonald's restaurant. Try to go out there and make a business successful in a very particular and specific niche industry, fast food. Let's just go with fast food. So 100 people go out there and try to make their own fast food restaurant. Let's just say 5 of them are successful. 1 of them makes more profit than the other 4 combined. So we realize that out of this one generation, these 100 people went out there and all applied their ideas a little bit differently than the other ones. So there were 5 that were successful, 1 of them made more profit. So now we're going to use that way of doing business, how you handle with your customers, how you market, where you're located, etc., other factors to be taken into account, and that specific algorithm on how to do business will be used as the basis for the next generation. So when these new 100 people go out there and create business, they have a they have a starting point. They're not just randomly going out there trying to understand what it is. These 100 people have a basis of how to successfully do business. And then this first person on the second generation is going to do it exactly like the generation before. But each subsequent result or test or business model that is being put out there will be slightly different than the original model. It's going to be a mutation of 1% change, and we're testing. Test with a 1% change, test with a 1% change, test with a 1% change, out of 100. Then we realized that 7, an improvement from 5, made profit. That's good. There is an improvement, a progression we're finding. Now, these 7 people made more profit than each individual one from the generation before. We still take the highest gross net profit business model, and then we use that for the next generation for 100 people to test, with the first one being the base and 99 mutations or slight changes to the original. In the 3rd generation, they all go out there, they all test it with the model that has been proven to be successful, and we realize that 15 become profitable. That's a significant increase. And we continued this process until we continuously find a better progress. And the point is that there's no end point. There's no generation that we stop at. If we go to 250 generations where we're testing 100 people, we're testing 250 sets of 100, which is 25,000. I think that's 25,000. 25,000 people in total. We constantly find a newer and better way to do business by using the model that was most successful, the one before it. And the reason that we have a mutation rate is that if we need to have enough change where we don't get locked into a bad model, and we need to have enough consistency that when we are successful, we can continue to grow that success. Enough change, and we need to have enough consistency and enough change. 1% is the baseline for most mutations. You can change it depending on how you would like to change it, how quickly you want to change it. Maybe there's other factors you want to take into account, but this is a very general overview of what genetic algorithms is, and it took me about 6 minutes to describe that. So that's, again, a lot better than 15 or 20 minutes from before. So it's just the constant evolution of finding a better way and a better result from the prior set of tests and results. So what we're doing right now in front of us is from Daniel Shiffman, from this man right here, his YouTube channel, The Coding Train, on 9.4 genetic algorithm, looking at the code, the nature of code. He has his own website called thenatureofcode.org or .com. Natureofcode.com. And with that, you can get the Buy the Nature of ebook e-bundle. It's more of a donation, but again, it's very good to donate what you can. Oh, that's pretty cool. Amount to processing and amount to the author. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. I never noticed that. Okay, but you can download the book's code, and the code right here is available for you. And with the downloaded information in the section, I want to get the name correct. In Chapter 9, Genetic Algorithms, there is a section called Genetic Algorithm, or GA, _ Shakespeare Fancy Fitness, and this is the information in the code we have before you. I changed a few, I modified it just a bit, that it would be a lot bigger and easier to read on my screen. And to describe what's going on, the best phrase that we currently have, and the one we were trying to find, is to be or not to be. That's it. Period. It took 236 iterations or generations for it to find that phrase. This average fitness is not supposed to be 214,000. I might have messed up somewhere, maybe changing one symbol. This is supposed to be, I think, a percentage rather than a 214,000 number. It's supposed to be 0.7 or something. But an average fitness of each of the generations of what is the average fitness of all the generations, and you get to see that increment over time, closer and closer to 1 from 0. Total population size is 150. So the model we did with the business model algorithm that was mentioned before had 100 tests per generation. The total population. Oh, I don't know if that was a mistake. Fill the new population nation. Population nation? I don't think. Okay, population. Okay, it's constant. I don't know if it's an error that's just constantly copying and pasting and all this. Oh my gosh. I think I'm fixing his code, but he did it in a specific way that I don't understand, but it's just, I'm modifying the code to make it, for me to understand it. comment sections within a code is the most important part, because if you don't know what the code means or what it does, it's kind of useless. You can backtrack, you can reverse engineer it, but if you already have the codes of what the program is doing, you are so much far better off. It's like somebody saying, what I want you to do is go here. Well, how do I do that? Go here. How do I do that? Go here. It's give me instructions that I can read, not just code that the computer can read. These comments help me as a programmer, as a user, to understand what is happening behind the screen, so I know how to modify it if at any time it goes wrong. Because you do not have to have any comments in your code if everything's correct. The moment something is a mishap, you gotta know what's happening. Why is it happening the way that it's happening? When you write comments, when you're able to write in a pseudo code, where you're able to write in English, speaking it out loud, typing it as though you can read it yourself, it will be a lot better over time. So let me go ahead and change population nation, because I don't like that. There's no need to have that phrase. So I'm going to do find. I'm going to do population nation, and I'm going to replace it with population. So I'm going to find, replace and find all. Replace all. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the next section. I'm going to do replace all, population, replace all. Okay. Save and play. Did we do it correctly? Uh-oh. No, we're good. Okay, it just started out weird. So this time that we did it, it took 326, as it was 320 something or 50 something the time before. So roughly about 75 more generations it took for this random processing. And we can minimize the amount of generations, and we can minimize the amount of time, or increase the amount of time but decrease the amount of generations. We can tweak and modify it as we go along. We just need to understand how to do it, and then we can modify it. Once we get the basics down and can apply it, we can understand it, but if we can't use it, it's kind of just it's why have that information? It's one of those just major question that I have, is why have something you know of but can't apply? It might be interesting, but for me specifically, I need to apply it. I have this need to apply it. Doesn't mean you have to. It's just I think it would be much better for myself to know how to apply it, because I have goals I have later down the line. Okay, so so if we found the target phrase, stop. So population.finished, I'm assuming with population it is a class. Over here, class population. Oh, but it's underscore. So what does that mean? Okay, so we're giving population underscore the class population uppercase. Where dot finished, a boolean finished, I want to see where that is. Natural, generate, get best, finished, return finished. What is finished? Excuse me. What? Oh. Finished. I don't want to replace it with anything. Find. It's false. Huh. Yeah, the train, there's another train in the background. Again, there's like 5 or 6 trains that happens every single day right next to my place. Up to 8, but minimum 6. I always say minimum 4, but realistically it's minimum 6. It's one of those things that I've accepted, and therefore I have it. So until I get pissed off enough to no longer be here, I will continue to experience that train that happens 6+ times a day. So it's my fault. It's my fault. So the whole objective I have for today and this week, specifically this week, is I want to learn how a genetic algorithm works. So last week, this is what I have. That Monday through Friday of this week, July 1st to July 5th, as today is July 1st, each day learn and apply information and ideas from genetic algorithms. So I'm just going to copy and paste that into the description box. Or I could say goal is each day learn and apply information and ideas, genetic algorithms. So yep. And then the description, what I want to do specifically is tweak and modify the original code, the code from GA9, GA9, Genetic Algorithm 9, Chapter 9. To test what the code does, period. So I need to, so for me, I need to constantly be going out there and testing. There's the train again. Again, there's the train. It goes on and then off for about 2 minutes, and then it comes right back on. So, oh man. One of these days, Gladys, one of these days, right to the moon. I'm gonna punch the train to submission. Use your fist. Okay. So that's my objective for not just today, but to Thursday, because I'm not going to be here on Friday. I'm going to be traveling and seeing family for 4th of July, and then the weekend I'm going to be seeing family that's close by to them. So I'm going to do kind of like a round robin. And then next week I'm going to be, wow, I'm going to be traveling quite a bit. Yeah, because I'm going to be traveling the whole week, next week. So from Thursday pretty much to Friday of the next week, I'm going to be not home, which I don't like. So primarily because I don't have a lot of... If I had things in order and I had a system already happening, if I had a laptop that I could carry with me and do this work with me on the road, not on the road, but while I'm at other people's places, I would so be okay. But I want to do this as often as possible, as much as possible. I might even bring my computer so I can do it there, but it's a massive desktop. So if I could bring an actual laptop, I would not mind that activity. So it's something I even want to consider saving for, so I can start doing, traveling and doing this on the road, so I can actually maximize the amount of time, or just even doing this 2 or 3 times a day, maybe even up to 3 to 4 hours each day, rather than doing it for 1 hour. If I can do it maybe from Monday through Thursday, 3 to 4 hours, and then take Friday off, I think that would work perfectly. Yeah, that would work perfectly. So what I want to do today is that, what if I go for 3 to 4 hours? If I go for 3 to 4 hours, it's going to be it's going to be later than I should have done this. See, this is a good process. This is a good process because I'm trying to figure out whether or not to go to 3 to 4 hours. But the most important part is to just do it. So I need to go for at least 2 hours. If I can go for 2 hours, I think that'll be a great benefit. But if I can go for 3 hours, that'll be amazing. So a goal specifically for today, objective, three to 4 hours of testing code. So, yeah. If I have to take breaks, if I have to come back, maybe I only go for 2 hours. Maybe if I go for 2 hours, that'll be a lot better. So 2 hours. I don't want to go for 3 to 4 hours because I feel like I'd be more exhausted because I overworked myself yesterday. I didn't really get that day of rest that I wanted, but if I can go for 2 hours, 2+ hours today, I'll be in a much better position by carrying that momentum forward each day. 2+ hours each day. I don't have to just go for 1 hour, but if I can go for 2 at least, up to 3, I'd love to go for 3 to 4, but if I can go for a little bit more than 2, even just an hour and a half, more than 1, is so much better. So let's get started with this code. So now that I have my objectives, putting that to the side, don't really need to see it. What I want to do is I would love to change average fitness 2007 530. What's going on with that specifically? because all the phrases on the bottom left-hand corner, these are the phrases that came before in the generation that was tested. These were the first 10 or the last 10 that were being tested. So this is within the last generation. Let me go and see average fitness, and it should be at the bottom where it says display info. Excuse me. Average fitness. NF. What does NF mean or stand for? Population.getAverageFitness. So I don't need to know what NF stands for right now. What I want to know is specifically what get average fitness is. So population is the class population. So I'm going to go to the class population. I'm going to be probably using a lot of confusing words because there may be a lowercase or an uppercase word, and they may be I may be flip-flopping. So I'm going to try to describe the class population rather than the variable class population or the activity or something. I'm going to do my best to describe that as long as we go along. So population dot get average fitness. Copy population. I'm going to do Control F for find, copy, paste, and I want to find it. Okay, so I can expand this a lot more. Okay, so let's see if it's anywhere else. Nope, that's the only place. Just to test it with any others, it's not in the DNA class, and it is only in this one section with display info. So this is all that I have to care about. This is all the information I need to know on how to modify this number of 2007,530.67 and change that into a percentage rather than the number it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that number, and I didn't modify this last week at all. And I thought it was a percentage the last week. I might have been completely wrong. The easiest way that I can do this is just to copy and paste the original code, download the original code, and then put it over. That seems a lot more work than it needs, than I care to do. So float total is 0. So I'm assuming that's going to have a decimal on total. For loop, integer I equals 0, so starting base is 0. When as long as I is less than population.length, so as long as the okay. The length of the population, so the population size being 150, I want to change that down to 100 to make it easier for calculations. For easier for just the max size the max population size will be 100. Saving and playing, it should run like 400 generations. 300. Okay, so if I change that back down to from 100 to 150, then the amount of generations, it took 339. I changed that down to 150. Save and play. We should get like 250 something. 161. So that's a lot less. But my question is to why? Yeah. Why? Not the generation, the fitness score. What's going on with the fitness score? That is boggling to me at the moment. Okay, so from last week, all phrases, I changed the amount of phrases to be had here. I changed it down from 50 to 10. What I need to do is change that population size back to 50 rather than 10. So in this string all phrases, what phrases are going to be displayed? The display limit was either the smallest number of 2, population.length, or 10. I'm going to change this back to 50, because that was the original one, I believe. Pushing play. I can't believe I remember that. That's awesome. But that number is still radically high than I thought it was. Yeah. Huh. So now the total generation is 480. Let's play that again, because all I changed was the population. Should be 160, 200, 300, 400. Wow. So what's going on? Display no more than 10 population values. So if I change this to 2, it is either the population.length or the number 2. It's going to be number 2. It should have a smaller generation. Huh, 263. If I change this back to 10, which is, again, baffling to me. I thought this was just the display of what's going on behind the scenes. It shouldn't have any effect on the actual generation creation. 190. Why? Okay, so the average fitness. So my question is, see, that's a good question to have, is I was thinking it had to be. Now, there's other code that he created, and even with his Shakespearean one, the to be or not to be in his YouTube videos, that he has fitness as a decimal, 0.78 ... This one has a 221,511.69. This means that this number is the raw average score of rather than going, even though we know what the end goal is, 1 being the exact number or something, and to be anything else would be less than 1, no less than 0, no more than 1. This is just, I think each character has a set value, and what if I was to take not the average fitness, but the current fitness? And if I want to know what that fitness number is. So I'm going to do with all phrases, nope, get average fitness. Nope. Actually, yes, because I'm not going to be doing the average fitness. What I want to do is total plus or equals population I dot fitness. So we're adding, and then total divided by population dot length. Okay, so we're literally adding a bunch of numbers together and then dividing it by the population size, or the length of how many generations or something of this one particular. Excuse me. So what I want to do is remove this for loop, because I don't want to continuously add to the total. I just want whatever the fitness score is of the current one. So I'm going to say return total, and I'm even going to do backslash. I'm going to make this into a return total equals population dot length. Save and play, because this should give us the set value of whatever the current. Okay, so 150. What? Now here's the weird thing. The average fitness equals the total population size. So does that mean that each of the pieces of the population that make up the total equals 1? So what if I reduce the population size to 100? Does that mean that the fitness equals the length? Well, yeah, it does. It does. Oh, I shouldn't be using length. I should be using fitness. Of course. That was my mistake. Okay, I shouldn't be using length. I should be using fitness. Okay. Dot fitness. Population I. Yeah. Okay, I know what to do here. So I'm going to use my own for loop. I'm going to do for integer, same thing, population.length, and I. And then I'm going to call the class or the library, or I don't know what the specific name is called. And within population, it's a list of values. So population 1 would have a bunch of values within it, 100 or 150, depending on how many we generate for the population size. And then, or it is the population, it's a list of, it's not a library where you have a list here and a list here. It's just, I think, one compiled list. Meaning there's not just an A column, B column, C column, 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, circle, square, triangle, there's just one column. That's the important point. So I want to do total, not plus equals. I don't want to continuously add to total. I want to just give total a set value. And then I'm going to return total. That's all I'm going to do. Return total. Save. So whatever the current population.length, or the population fitness is, I want to give that to total, and we're going to return that to get average fitness. Get average fitness is not the correct name, but it is the correct function on to printing the score of whatever the current value is. So I'm curious about that. It should be a max, like an even number. It should be an even number. So if I was to run this again, 131072, that should be the number that is continuously that should be the number that should continuously be repeated. And that's, I don't get why that's the value number, but I'm going to roll with it. So returns 131072.00 question mark. So I'm going to change the population size from 150 to 100. And I'm going to save and play. Okay. It kind of looks like it's going to get there. Uh-oh. Wow. Okay. So apparently the population size and length. Okay, let me go back, because I think I was using, yeah, population.fitness. What if I changed I? And what if I removed the for loop? Man, I'm feeling exhausted here. Like, I'm feeling it. I might need to take a break and come back in like 30 minutes or something, but yeah. Whew. What if, there's a lot of thought process, I think. Like, I'm trying here. What if I change population.length? What if I removed this entire for loop and I set total equals population with the number, whatever the generation number is, number dot fitness. Okay, so what if, so I need to know what the number for generation is. I need to go to this section, what total generation is. So I need to find the get generation section. Enter. Okay, return generations. So copy, paste, find. Okay, equals 0 plus plus. Okay, so we're all, so in generate, this is where we add to the generation number. So what I want to do is generations. I'm going to come back into the get average fitness, and I'm going to literally, whatever the number of generations it is, whatever that number is, because it could have been generation, Gen, I needed to get that specific set syntax of whatever the variable is. So now, I should have everything correct. Save and play. Uh-oh. Array index out of bounds, exception 100. Huh? What? Okay, I'm kind of lost here. What's going on? What if I change the total population size to 150? There may be factors that are taking into account that everything should be at 150. So save and play. If it doesn't work, I'm going to return it back to its original position. 150 array index out of bounds exception. I have no idea. Whoo, boy, man, I felt some, like, it's not in here, it's in here. It's like I'm literally doing something that, it's not cerebral. It's literally like a blockade, or like a legitimate pressure inside of the brain. It's called thought. I am having an original thought for a moment. I'm thinking for the first time in my life. it's if I could articulate it in any way, it's like somebody somebody's pushing you down a really large slide, and it's too freaking large of a slide for you to go down initially. Once you go down, you'll have fun, but it's like it's that feeling. But it's not in here like I'm having a physical reaction. I'm literally having a mental reaction. Something's happening inside of my head right now. I know. It's crazy up in there. They're all having a party. So I'm going to remove generations. What if I add a plus sign and continuously add 2 total rather than just... Yeah, it's still having that array index out of bounds exception. I didn't expect it to fail that way. I was just, if it could. I'm gonna reduce this. I'm gonna remove it. Return everything back to its original position. Okay. I'm going to save and play. We should go back to our original position of whatever the average fitness score is. See, now, I was trying to figure out what fitness is. The original goal that I have for this entire section, for even looking at any of the genetic algorithm code, is how to create the code. So maybe trying to go down that one path without the context of something more meta, something more global, rather than just going and getting on the road and start traveling down the roads. Maybe I actually have an intention and a goal in mind so I can bear the weight of a 4-hour drive. Like, that's a long drive. Like, if I don't want to just drive for the sake of driving. If I know why I'm driving, then I'm able to lose myself because I can relax, feeling certain that the destination I hold to be true, or I have a destination in mind, so my body can feel comfortable, not just going in random directions, but having a set fixed location to set my mind towards. Okay, so it's not even just how do I create a generation. What would be one of the first few things I would need to know? Maybe creating a class. Yeah, I don't have to figure out everything today. Maybe everything will take another week. Maybe it'll take a whole month, including the time that I'm going to take a week, a little bit more than a week off, going to see family. I might have to do it for 2 weeks because of that one thing. It's like, well, do I really want to go see family? In the long run, yes, family is important. But I don't need to know how to do it now. That's the important point, because I might be getting so flustered in the simplicity of I need to figure out how to do this now, or I'm going to be left behind. Even if I am left behind, there's something that I can learn from that, and maybe I was left behind for a reason. Again, finding reason in things rather than just aimlessness and purposelessness, nihilism, etc. So, list population values from current generation. String all phrases, string everything, so all phrases. Yeah, I have it at 10, but what if I move it back? I want it to stay at 10 because there's no reason for me to increase that number of all phrases on the bottom left-hand corner to have it any more than we can see. We don't even have to have it, but I want to see some activity that is happening. Now, one thing that I would like to know is the phrase itself. Maybe I can figure out and question, test, challenge the idea of, the activity of how is to be or not to be that is the best phrase at the top of the screen, top of the code. How is that being generated in the code itself? I think I need to feel that as a wow. Oh man, oh man. Wow, that was a hefty thought. It wasn't a hefty thought, that was a tiresome thought, because that's, again, it's not cerebral. One of the major reasons that I'm going down this route is because I need to learn how to code. I have a personal, not vendetta, but a personal vengeance to, if I don't do it, a personal objective, a personal goal that I have that I've been wanting for about 7 years, about 6 or 7 years, and I feel it's going to happen, but it's going to entirely take a lot longer than originally planned. I'm understanding things that I have spent years not knowing, of just saying like, you know what, I don't know, doesn't matter, doesn't care because I don't know about it, so I'll just move on. Me actually confronting that is a little bit therapeutic, a little bit. It's like going to a sauna. It's like, man, it's just like you feel heavy inside of the sauna, your muscles start to relax, you don't really feel like as relaxed as you can be until you're getting out of there and you're like, wow, ooh. Or maybe it's like getting out of a sauna. Maybe you feel really relaxed, and like I felt so relaxed not knowing. Now that I know it, I feel so stressed, but I feel like anxious. It's not anxious, it's like antsy. I don't know. Just something inside of me. Something, it's like it's growing. It's the alien. Okay. Calc fitness. Fill our fitness array with the value of every member of the population. So fill our fitness array, population.i.fitness target. See, now I'm questioning, so maybe if I could just spend this time of literally just maybe an hour, I might want to come back, I might break this up into a few hour-long videos, but I'm going to review all the lines of code very briefly. If I don't know what's going on, I can move on. Because if I don't know what it is right now, maybe in 2 or 3 lines of code or 2 or 3 functions later, I might realize, oh, that's there because of this. And this is doing it because of these 2 things. So I start to piece it together. So I need to understand it cerebrally. I need to get an idea of it all, maybe having something a little bit more global, a little bit more meta, and then I can start placing the pieces down or even altering it as needed, getting something down, familiarizing myself, like again, like a crock pot. I've used that analogy for quite some time. Planting the seeds and then allowing it to process like a crock pot where, hey, wouldn't it be great for you to, for us to go and eat some pie later? It's like, yeah, that would be a good thing. You're not recommending it. You're not recommending it. You're not suggesting we do it now. You're planting the seed that eating pie equals a good thing. And then later in life, not later in life, later that day, maybe the more often it's like, wow, pie is pretty good. You do that enough times, over time, you'll start to see that you'll want to go and get pie by default. Just, wow, I want to go get pie. I don't know why I want pie. I just want pie because those seeds were planted over time. So, again, the unconscious is very powerful. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's very powerful. So the target, we have our target. And what if... You see, my question is, what if we changed what target was? What if we removed what if we changed to be or not to be, but we changed that to another phrase? Copy. Target is we become what we think about. Save. I don't know, the characters might be too long and there's something in there. Wow, that's a lot of... Okay. See, this is a good thing. Because I was thinking before I did this that to be or not to be had a set amount of characters, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20 characters in this one phrase, and then we have roughly, what, 30-ish characters in this one phrase? I thought that in the code somewhere, there has to be a set, like, there's a number that matters to how long the character is. Or, actually, we probably use an algorithm, or a function, or a command, that takes the number size of the string length. So if it's 30 in character, if there are 30 characters within a string, it's like string.length or whatever it is, to figure out how many characters are in it, and then we go and start generating numbers for the length of that one code. And that's why we get the same character length for each and every single one of these code names. So what if I do Baba Yaga. There might be 2 G's and 2 B's, but we'll just go with this. Okay, save and play. Yeah. Now, what if I change that to hello world? Save, play. Wow, pretty cool. You see, that's pretty freaking amazing. To be or not to be, hello world. And the average fitness is a lot less than it has been. So what if I just put the letter A? Literally, just the letter A. How many generations? What's the population size? So the average fitness is 1.01. The total generations is 10, which is fascinating because there's 150 per generation, 10 generations. For each and every single character on the keyboard, it took 1,500 tests before it could get to the letter A. That is fascinating. I think one of the reasons that it's silly to think of it that way is that it is random, but the longer the characters are, it's actually narrowing down what is not a viable usage, a viable baseline test for the next generation. If it's a B, is it better or worse than the other ones? Maybe it was trying to find the A and it can't really start doing that process of elimination. Well, it is doing a process of elimination. If it isn't this, let's mutate a little bit 150 times. If it's none of the ones here, let's mutate and modify it randomly 150 times. So I'm going to put a long phrase in here. I'm just going to copy and paste from Daniel Shiffman's The Nature of Code website. The complete book is available as HTML with interactive processing.js examples, period. So I'm going to click, and that character length is, I would say, pretty darn freaking long. There's probably some string, you could use a print line and then whatever the string, target.length. So let's go ahead and do that. In the setup function, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to see if I can do that. Print line. I'm going to do target.length. Save, play. As a field. Oh, len. Probably len. How about that? Play. Nope. No idea. But at least the idea of what is the amount of characters there. I don't think it's going to go any higher than 500 because the more characters we have, it seems like it's going to take a lot longer exponentially. But again, the process of elimination should help. Be a lot less than we think. It's going to be even more beyond that. See, total generations, whoa, that's wrong, is 60. Apparently we messed up here. What's going on? Maybe there's a .js. Let me reduce it. I have no idea what happened here. With interactive, ... Save and play. Maybe there was it couldn't do that. Maybe there's a maximum of what the code can do. Again, that's wrong. What's going on here? So I'm going to remove just one word at a time until we can start seeing better results. Again, this might take a little bit of time, but I'm just going to keep removing one phrase at a time until we can get something that's more coherent. The complete, which is a lot better, 162, why did it stop at that? I'm curious why it's just stopping. That's a question that I would have. Again, now I'm stress testing the entire code rather than trying to... It's one of those, the hacking moments. You're trying to think of how to do it, which that's something that I need to take into consideration. Maybe instead of trying to be a programmer, maybe I could be focusing on hacking. Asking these questions of trying to break the code itself. Trying to understand it. So what, again, in this section is what if, and it's a question, what if instead of focusing on becoming a better programmer, I focus on becoming a better hacker. Reason? Using innovative questions to tackle because I do this entire activity with politics, and that's something that's neither here nor there. That's not part of this, of whatever I think is to be true or whatever. It's just the activity of using innovative questions, using a different question, a new way of looking at it, trying to do something a little bit different. So using innovative questions to tackle problems and solving the issues or problems, just problem solving. Again, there's no reason for me to expand upon so many words. I could just say problem solving. Issues, problem solving. Yeah. I could. What would be that phrase? I could try and break people's codes and stress test their boundaries. Yeah. But this would also interfere with my long-term objective and goal to become an automated trader. See, that's the objective that I have. So I could try and break people's codes and stress test their boundaries, but this would also interfere with long-term objectives and goals that I have personally. I could, why am I omitting the last phrase? It's personal, but I'm not going to remove it. You can see it right there. So objective and goal to become an automated trader. I don't really like sharing that with people because it's my goal, it's my objective. But, if I'm going to be honest here, that's what it's for. See, now I feel one of those, I feel so freaking vulnerable that I shared something that was so personal to me. But I've shared it multiple times with other ones, but it's probably because I'm getting even closer. Like, there's a little flame, but the more that I'm closer and closer, I want to protect it and shelter it the more and more I possibly can. That the more and more I care about something, the more that I feel, again, proximity, I'm actually very close to somebody. I want to be very secretive and protective with that person. That I may not share my inner secrets simply because I am very close with you. It sounds dumb on its surface, but neurologically on the unconscious level, I think what's going on inside of me is that, which is a constant thing that has happened greatly in the past, which is one of those things that I absolutely believe this is one of the reasons I'm able to articulate. I'm a very functioning autistic person because I'm able to articulate, and I've been practicing and changing and challenging myself of all the activities that's happening inside of me. And what's happening right inside of me right now is that I am very on this surface. I share with I try to be as transparent as possible to as many people as possible, without giving a second thought. Just like yeah, this is exactly what I'm thinking. But the closer and closer I get to something, the more and more I feel so very vulnerable, so very protective about something that I care about. And when that thing is exposed, I start to shake on the inside just a little bit. But the more and more, it's like, why am I sharing this thing that's so private and secret for me? And that's one of the activities that's going on that I'm actually, again, we all have challenges. That's my challenge. That's something that I've been coming across often when trying to code. I get towards a goal, I get towards an objective, self-sabotage. I do well in real estate. I make great connections, great objectively good connections, self-sabotage. Because something so precious to me is happening. Maybe the way that I've been living before is so precious inside of me that I start outlashing, or I start not outlashing at other people. I start to cut ties and start moving away simply because of that thing that's so precious and dear inside of me has been exposed and is starting to be understood by other people that I want to keep as secret as possible. So it's one of those counterintuitive activities that I'm actually recording what's going on inside of me and posting it on the internet. But I would say that's actually the opposite of the counterintuitive. If I care what people say about what's going on with these things, I always suggest and I always ask for comments, questions, and concerns, posting them below, hitting that like, share, and subscribe button, because it helps the YouTube algorithm out so other people can look at what's going on with me and say that, hey, I have experienced this exact same thing, and you're right, this is going on inside of me too. If I can share, if I can shape, if I can help somebody prevent harmful shit from happening in their own personal lives. And I apologize for using that language, but if I can help someone, which is one of the reasons why this YouTube channel exists, if I can help someone articulate the feelings they have, making them transparent to what they have, I think that a lot of crap will be prevented in their life simply because they understood why they did it. I'm done with this video. Like, I had a nerve in deep down inside of me. There's a lot of good things that I took away from this video. There's a lot of good practices, and I tested a bunch of things. I explained and repeated, and I started in goal setting. I put into frame of where I'm going to be going from here. It's a lot slower than just making one radical video and starting to code, but in the long term it's going to be a lot quicker because I'm going to be developing all these skills of creating and obtaining and achieving goals. But that's the one thing that I would love to leave with, is that the activity inside of me is that there's something inside of me that I don't know how to explain. And there's this secret compartment inside that if somebody touches me, I'm literally okay with somebody being stabbed because they got too close. And I know I wouldn't do that intentionally. It's something that I don't know what to do with this. Can you please help me? Yeah, regardless of whose fault it is, it's still my responsibility. So if somebody did this to me, maybe when I was like a child or something, maybe something happened in my childhood. Regardless of what happened to me, that's the important part. Regardless of whether or not my parents were negligent, regardless of whether or not my parents knew, which I doubt they did, regardless of whatever someone could or could not have done in my past, it's not their fault, okay? What's done is done. In the past. I still feel this way, but it's not your fault. I'm feeling this way. How do I fix it? That's the attitude that I'm really grateful for having. I'm really grateful for that attitude, because when I understand that it's my fault for whatever activity that I do, then I'm the one that can change it. And that is therapeutic. See, I'm feeling more open about that, because when it's my fault, it's my responsibility. If I feel pissed off, if I feel stressed, it's because of me. And I'm trying to make because that's what I said before. That I'm trying to make a programming video. They both start with P. I'm trying to make a programming video so I can obtain a specific objective goal in the real world. But if I go out there and I start outlashing, if I go out there and make a bunch of I don't like cussing on this channel. It's something that I do not like. I want to make this more of a family-friendly series, and I do apologize. It wasn't appropriate. It was appropriate at the time, but in hindsight, looking back at that time, that's just how I felt. But again, just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that you're justified in doing it. Even if you are justified, doesn't mean in hindsight you weren't wrong. So it's one of those, I feel a certain way, it doesn't mean that I should act on every single impulse, nor should I act the way that I feel. Why am I feeling this way, and is there a better way to feel? Is there a better way to act? Is there a better way to think? And then using that in congruence to make yourself have a greater integrity, becoming more integral with where it is that you want to go, where you are right now, and even learning from the past mistakes that you've made and saying, I want to go here because I no longer want to make those mistakes. I no longer want to have this in my life. I no longer want to live in this apartment complex that I want to live at. I'm going to probably most likely sign up for another 1.5 years, but I'm making the necessary, even though that sounds counterintuitive, in the long run, 3 to 5 years from now, I'm making the appropriate adjustments each and every day, even if it's just saying going to bed on time. The small, seemingly insignificant actions done over time produce the results in your life. And if you really want to improve your life, all you have to do is just go to bed on time. Eat correctly. Don't overeat. If you're hungry, go ahead and eat. It'd be nice to have a water bottle filled with good water. That one little activity done over time will produce massive results in the long run. So I'm really grateful, and again, there's the other train. In this video alone, I now have, it's either this video or the video before, everything's kind of like meshed together. My ability to recall things from the past are kind of a little bit of a blur, so if you understand, again, I used to hit my head on tables to seek out attention from my peers when I was in elementary school. I used to do that, and I hit them hard. Like, if I was to, pound the table, how you would hear it is exactly how hard I would do it with my head when I was a child. Now again, I could blame my parents, I could blame everybody around me for accepting that as an activity to do, because that's horrible. It's regardless of whose fault it is, or regardless of why I felt that way in the past. It's not their fault. Even if it was their fault, we can't fix the past. All we can do is fix now. So if somebody didn't know it and you were negligent in the past, but you now want to help me fix it, why would I get pissed off at you for someone who wants to help me? Someone who wants to help me. It's like, you may have messed up, and it's like, yeah, I feel sorry for that, and you feel that burden. You want to help me now, man? I'm probably about to cry. Like that's very, like that gets me, man. Oh man. You see, this is something I haven't done in a while. Feel. I've been happy, but I have never been able to just be exposed like this for quite some time. I've been vulnerable. I've said that I've been vulnerable, but to literally be vulnerable, not just to express how vulnerable I am, but to like feel a deeper level of vulnerability. I've been vulnerable, just now this is a deeper level of vulnerability that I like that. Again, most of the videos that I have, I probably made one of my best political videos. Again, there's a lot of cursing and cussing in it, but it wasn't intentional. It's I think objectively pretty freaking amazing. I woke up this morning and I realized nobody saw it. No views, 0, none. I made a comment in the comments section of the thing that I was making. Nobody liked it. Nobody saw it. Probably somebody saw it, but you know, people skipped over it and started doing their own and made more comments. That I really wish I was doing this for clicks and likes. And it's probably even why I'm even expressing myself. But expressing myself, again, if nobody watches me for the next 3 to 5 years, and then I become massively successful, and then guess what? People will say, "Oh, look how successful you are. Look how lucky you got." It's like, dude, I've been doing this way longer than you think I have, and I've gone through my own trials and tribulations to get to this point in my life. So again, all you have to do is consistently do something and continuously test, grow, and evolve. And if you do that, people around you 3 to 5 years later who are not testing, not challenging themselves, not changing, will look at you and say, "Wow, look how successful and lucky you got." Yeah, I got lucky because I kept going. I didn't just happen to wake up one day. I kept doing it. See, PewDiePie gets hundreds of millions of views. I would say tens of millions of views, but millions of views each and every video he posts, and they're very silly, and nothing against him, but stupid videos. I mean, they're just, mind-numbing and funny, hilarious. They are. But what does his success have anything to do with my own? He succeeds, well, therefore he's taking views away from mine. Maybe I need to try harder. Maybe I'm not doing the way that it needs to be done for me to succeed the way that I would like to. And if all I have to do is just mimic exactly like he's doing it and do that, but my character, is a little bit different. I'm not going to say better or worse. I mean, I'd love to say better or worse, but it's very different from from PewDiePie. I'm certain that if I was to have a conversation with Felix, we'd very much be just, "Hey, what's up? Hey," and then walk off, and then we just like pass each other, like, okay. Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool guy. He's a blast to hang out with, I'm assuming. Maybe he's very exclusive, like he just doesn't really want a large amount of people in his own personal space, which is, again, counterintuitive to what most people would think that people who are very popular on the internet is. No, they're able to have a conversation with their camera, and as if you are here, and each and every single person individually watching it wants to, go to him. So, end result versus the activity or whatever. So thank you very much for being a part of this. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. That would greatly help the YouTube algorithm section. And also, voice your opinion about whatever the news is. Just whatever you feel like. Hey, I like puppies. Fantastic. That helps. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button, because that would greatly help this channel out as well. And while you enjoy the rest of your day, I will see you next time.